Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been following the NFL and especially the Detroit Lions, you know that this offseason has been a roller coaster, filled with strategic moves, intriguing signings, and some very interesting rumors that could reshape the division. But there's one area that has been grabbing all the attention, not just among fans, but also analysts and insiders, the edge position. And trust me, this is no small matter for a team like Detroit, which has been building a serious contender for the playoffs and possibly even a Super Bowl run in the near future. The edge rushers are the key to unlocking that next level of defensive dominance, and right now, the Lions are sitting at a crossroads, trying to figure out how to upgrade and solidify this position. There's a lot to unpack here. First, let's talk about Aiden Hutchinson, the rookie sensation from last year, who quickly established himself as one of the most promising young pass rushers in the league. Hutchinson's motor, size, and technique made him a nightmare for offensive tackles. But as talented as he is, every team needs depth at that position, especially when facing the grueling schedule of an NFL season and the playoff push. The Lions understand that perfectly, and that's why they're eyeing options both internally and externally. They need to add more firepower, more versatility on that front line, and that's where things get really interesting. One of the big questions swirling around Detroit is whether they should try to bring back Zadarius Smith. Now, for those who may not remember, Smith was a key piece for the Packers before signing with the Vikings and then joining the Lions last year. His pass-rushing ability, experience, and leadership brought a lot to Detroit's defense. However, earlier this year, the Lions made the tough decision to release him, likely due to salary cap considerations or a desire to explore other options. But now, with training camp approaching and the season on the horizon, there's speculation that Smith might be a candidate for a reunion, especially if the Lions want to keep the cost low and add proven talent to their edge group. But here's where it gets more intriguing. The Lions are also reportedly eyeing bigger moves, perhaps through trade or free agency, to bolster their pass rush. One name that has been floating around as a potential target is Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals. Hendrickson, a proven pass rusher with a knack for getting to the quarterback, could be a perfect fit alongside Hutchinson. Imagine that duo, with Hendrickson's explosiveness and ability to bend the edge, terrorizing opposing quarterbacks. It's a tantalizing prospect, especially if the Lions can swing a trade that brings Hendrickson into their fold without giving up too much. Now let's pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Because honestly, the Lions' front office is in a delicate position. They want to upgrade their pass rush, but they also need to be smart with their cap space, which has already been stretched with big deals for Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and others. It's a balancing act, how to get top-tier talent without sacrificing future flexibility or creating cap issues that could hinder next year's roster. And speaking of cap space, the Lions are in a pretty decent spot, but they must be strategic. Bringing back Smith would be cost-effective, and it would give them a veteran presence that can step in immediately. On the other hand, if they could swing a trade for someone like Hendrickson, that would send a clear message that Detroit is serious about contending right now. Hendrickson's contract situation, wanting a new deal, could work in the Lions' favor, making a trade more feasible, especially if Cincinnati is open to moving him. But there's also a division rival to consider, the Chicago Bears. The Bears are in a bit of a rebuild, and they're definitely looking to improve their pass rush as well. Rumors suggest that Chicago might go after some of the same free agents or trade targets, like Smith, Judon, or Jadeveon Clowney. Out of these options, Clowney could be the most intriguing, given his recent production and ability to disrupt the backfield. If the Bears manage to sign someone like Clowney or Judon, It could force the Lions to act quickly to solidify their pass rush, or they risk falling behind in the division. Now, back to the Lions' strategic options. One thing that fans should keep in mind is the importance of the defensive line in today's NFL. Teams that dominate up front usually control games, especially when it comes to rushing the passer and stopping the run. Detroit has invested heavily on the offensive side with Jared Goff, which has paid dividends. But their defense, especially the pass rush, needs to be a force if they want to take that next step towards playoff success and beyond. The addition of a player like Hendrickson, or even bringing back Smith, could be the difference maker in late-game situations, where a game-changing sack or pressure can turn the tide. And let's not forget about the young core Detroit has already built. Hutchinson's emergence last season was impressive, but he's just getting started. The Lions have also drafted players like James Houston and have promising prospects in the pipeline. But to truly maximize their defense, they need experienced, high-impact pass rushers to elevate everyone around them. That's why this offseason is so crucial. Every move, every signing, every trade could determine whether Detroit becomes a true contender or remains on the fringe of the playoff picture. Another interesting aspect to consider is the Lions' overall defensive scheme. Under new defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, Detroit has shown a willingness to be aggressive, to blitz, and to create chaos up front. The more talent they add, the more versatile and unpredictable their defense can become. Opposing quarterbacks will have a tougher time reading the blitzes, and the secondary will benefit from having a solid pass rush keeping the pocket clean. It's a symbiotic relationship, and the Lions seem to understand that better than ever. Looking ahead, the upcoming NFL draft and free agency period will be pivotal. The Lions might target specific players or look for trade opportunities that can give them an edge. They could also wait for a mid-season trade deadline to make a move if an unexpected opportunity arises. The key is to be aggressive but smart, balancing immediate needs with long-term cap management. Now, for fans of Detroit, it's easy to get excited about these possibilities. The team has shown resilience and a clear vision for growth. The front office has been diligent in building through the draft and strategic signings, and the coaching staff is focused on developing players and creating a culture of winning. The defensive emphasis on pass rushers fits perfectly into that philosophy. If they can get that position right, particularly with an eye toward adding Hendrickson or re-signing Smith, it could be the final piece in the puzzle for a Lions team that's ready to shake up the NFC North. And speaking of the NFC North, let's briefly analyze the division as a whole. The Green Bay Packers are in transition, possibly moving on from Aaron Rodgers and trying to rebuild around Jordan Love. The Minnesota Vikings are looking to replicate or even surpass their impressive 2022 season, with a potent offense led by Kirk Cousins. The Chicago Bears, as mentioned earlier, are rebuilding, but they're aggressive in trying to shape their roster. In this landscape, Detroit has a real chance to take command if they make the right moves, especially on defense. A dominant pass rush could be the X factor that propels them past the competition. Now, what about the fans? You guys have been incredible throughout this journey. The passion you bring every game, every discussion, every debate about the Lions is what fuels this team. And I know you're all eager to see what the Lions will do next, especially in the edge rusher department. Will they bring back Zadarius Smith? Will they trade for Hendrickson? Or maybe they have someone else in mind? Whatever happens, one thing is certain: Detroit is not settling for just being good enough. They want to be great, and they're making the right moves to get there. The upcoming weeks will be crucial, and I'll be here, breaking down every development, every rumor, every signing, so stay tuned. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. Do you think the team should pursue Hendrickson? Or do you believe they're better off re-signing Smith? Maybe you think they should look elsewhere in free agency or focus on the draft. Whatever your perspective, I want to know, and I love engaging with this passionate community. Remember, the offseason is just beginning and the best is yet to come. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news, analysis, and insider information. This team is on the rise, and with your support, we're going to keep that momentum going. Thanks for being part of this journey, Lions fans. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our Detroit Lions.